Pro scouts are always looking for the most complete players they can find, athletes that truly embrace every facet of the game and work to get better at them. And then there are athletes that might not possess the ability nor desire to get better at anything other than the one thing that got them to the pros. And we're about to look at the math behind the 5 most one-dimensional players in the history of sports. Before number 5, Rob Deere, all or nothing. Chicks dig the long ball, but most fantasy players prefer that an offensive player put up stats in each category. However, former DH Rob Deere was only interested in doing one thing: hitting home runs and striking out. There are obviously many players who we could choose from that were all or nothing, including Adam Dunn and Dave Kingman. However, Rob Deere had some amazing career numbers when it comes to just hitting taters. Deere played for 11 big league seasons, almost all as a DH, where he hit 230 career home runs and had a lifetime average of 220, only 10 points above his listed weight. He also struck out 1,409 times, leading the majors in Ks 4 times, including 186 sit-downs in 1987, where he hit 28 home runs. That's playoff Aaron Judge level production. My favorite year of his is in 1991. While playing for the Tigers, he hit 25 dongs with a paltry batting average of 179. It's worth noting that he started that year with 6 hits in his first 51 at-bats. All 6 hits were home runs. That level of production would normally get you cut faster than a newborn baby, but Deere hung around the league for 5 more seasons, pretty much continuing his trend of just hitting dings and fanning at pitches like a windmill. Number 4, Peyton Manning, slow and steady. Now, to call one of the greatest QBs of all time one-dimensional is a little unfair, because his one dimension of passing the ball and putting up amazing offensive years is what made him a surefire Hall of Famer. But statistically, and particularly in his later years, his rushing stats are a testament of just how much he wanted to stay in the pocket and do shit all else. When Peyton was fresh out of college and done with teabagging staff at Tennessee, he actually would take off here and there and had a career-high rushing season in 2001 with 157 yards and 4 TDs.
That me!
But immediately after that, his rushing numbers severely declined, posting astonishing lows of -5, -13, -31, -24, and -6 in various years from 2002 to his last year in 2005. Of course, who could forget this bootleg that he ran on the Cowboys that strippers in Vegas have been less naked than. This would be his final and only rushing TD of the last 6 years of his career. And you know that one gets a damn son. Number 3. Brett Hull, shoot first, screw the questions. I bet when you think of one-dimensional scorers in the NHL, names like Alex Ovechkin and Steve Stamkos trigger you, Nancy boy. But statistically, Ovi and Stammer have decent assist numbers and aren't always terrible at defense, so I say. But no one player in the history of hockey loved doing nothing but scoring goals more than Brett Hull. In the 1990-91 season, Hull scored an absurd 86 goals, challenging the Great One's record of 92 in a single season. However, Hull that year only logged 45 assists, a differential of 41, which is the largest ever recorded and may be an unbreakable record. In a 3-year stretch from 1990 to 1992, Hull scored 228 goals while only logging a total of 125 helpers in the most self-aggrandizing and look at me, all I can do is score time period ever. For his career though, Hull eventually balanced out his assist totals and finished with 527 goals and 409 dimes and 1 foot in the goddamn crease. Number 2, Chris Birdman Andersen, swatter, we got a couple flies. To say Chris Andersen is an unusual player is an understatement. Not much of anything about him is conventional, so it's fitting that he would have some unconventional statistics when it comes to doing what he does best. Swatting shit out of his way like he was sitting on a Mississippi porch in the summertime and not really doing much else. His best individual season was in 2009 when he blocked a career-high 175 shots and scored only 452 points, averaging 2.5 blocks a game and only 6.4 points a game. He also only averaged 20 minutes a game, which is both an insane amount of blocks for so few minutes, but also an insane lack of scoring for the same amount amount of time. Over his 15-year career, he has averaged 1.4 blocks a game versus 5.4 points per game, and has had some amazing hairdos out there while he issued out more blocks than North Korea's ISP. Number 1, Devin Hester. Yes, we accept returns. Arguably the greatest kick and punt returner in the history of the NFL, he had only one slight flaw in his game. He wasn't really great at anything else on the football field. Undersized at 5'10", 185, he wasn't big enough to be a back and simply not tall enough to be a top-flight wide receiver, which he was decent at, but wasn't known as a particular threat in the passing game like, say, other undersized receivers in Deshaun Jackson or Steve Smith, who played in his era. Though he doesn't have paltry receiving numbers, including a career high of 757 yards in 2009, Hester was targeted 449 times in his career and only caught 255 passes, about a 50% ratio. Now let's get something clear. Devin Hester was an amazing kickoff and punt returner, and his first 2 years marked a level of dominance that was exceptional, with a combined 11 return TDs from 2006 to 2007. So if he was a one-trick pony, he was a damn good one. Hall of Fame level if you ask me, and that's one dimension that's not up for argument. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to download the FanDuel app and use my code Touchdown87 and get a free entry into the Sunday Millions contest with your first deposit. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my multifaceted channel. And as always, I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.